the guys from Ping, they've kind of shown me how much the equipment matters.
I just love that I can hit any shot I kind of want.
We're going to be able to tell some fun stories about what goes on here to help golfers play better golf.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ping Proving Grounds podcast. Shane Bacon, Marty Jerson. We got Erik Anders Lang with us. And Erik, I was thinking about your journey the last couple of days into golf. Did it start with adventures in golf? Is that kind of your first step into that space, like the media golf world?
I mean, that's like the evidence that exists in the world, but there was a couple years before that.
Okay, what were you doing before that?
You were a part of it.
Yeah. Well, what was that?
At Back Nine Network.
Oh yeah,
remember
Back
that?
Nine Network, baby.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. That was my first step into TV. Was Back Nine Network.
It
I
really?
didn't realize that you were that involved early into it. I mean, I know you'd had a part in it, but what were you doing with that crew?
Well, the only reason I was on Back Nine Network, which, by the way, I can't believe that was your first foray into being on camera, because you were such a professional.
Oh, well, appreciate it.
And I had the best time over there. But that was when we were talking about a film that is this kind of piece of lore, right? So I was working on this documentary about golf and meditation.
Okay.
Which has never seen the light of day.
Like, it exists. The footage exists or no?
It's edited.
Okay.
It's sort of, so they have a term in Hollywood for a film that gets made but doesn't get released, and it's called turnaround.
Yep.
And so basically, the film exists, and we've actually had some conversations recently with the PGA Tour, whom is a large, they're entitled to a lot of the rights of the footage. So it's a lot of like mid 2010s kind of archive. But anyway, so that film was about golf and meditation. And so we did an experiment where we taught golfers of different skill levels to meditate.
Okay.
With no other swing instruction, to see if meditation alone could improve your results in golf. And the answer was unanimous. All the 50 golfers who went through the study got better at the game. But that, then there's like a dovetail within that where I made this trailer to raise money for the film on like Kickstarter. And I got a phone call from the PGA Tour, and they were like, hey, you need to take this video down or we're going to sue you.
Gotcha.
And I was like, well, I'm a child, and I have no assets that you could get.
If you want to sue me, you can have like my shirts and a couple of pairs of shoes.
I was like, my pants don't even fit.
That's right.
So taking them away from me, I was a thrift store guy. And but then I got another phone call from a gentleman from the tour, and he said, hey, this is so-and-so from the PGA Tour. And I said, look, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. I'm in the middle of raising money, and I apologize. And he was like, what are you talking about? We want to hire you to be the face of a new generation of golfers, right? Golfers changing, and we think your take on the game as a host could be interesting. And I was like, oh yeah, no thanks. I don't want to be a host. And then he was like, well, we'll pay you to do whatever you want. And I was like, never mind. I'll do whatever I have to do to receive this job. So that was really the beginning. Yeah, and
Okay.
Adventures in Golf was the first thing that people saw. But there was a handful of years of becoming fascinated by golf, falling in love with golf, just watching golf clips. And there wasn't a lot out there at that time in 2010.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing, and I want to ask about you and meditation, because you were always trying different stuff, and I'd love to know if you've ever tried a Marty. But, the interesting thing about Back Nine Network, not to like talk about our past, but kind of feels a little ahead of its time now that you look back on it.
Totally.
I mean, this is 2014, 2015. I don't know how much you knew about it, Marty, but it was a group of people that were trying to talk about golf in a different way and bring in younger people, and some of the videos and some of the some of the stuff they bought in, like the range picker team and like the ones that would go out in the swamps and stuff like that. I mean, some of that stuff now would play,
Totally. Well, I mean, actually, you're totally right. Back Nine was sort of this really great like roll up of golf content that right now you see it in St. Andre.
Yep.
Right. You see it in Roger Steele.
Yep. Right.
You see it even in Good almost. Like, you're a great player. You were involved. I think it's hard to make something grassroots and real. Like you think about music, right? Like Nirvana. That was started in a garage. That was just pure passion. And when you look at all the names I just listed, like individuals taking advantage of the ability to create and post and host their own content, have their own POV. That's hard to do from a corporate standpoint.
Right.
And so I think Back Nine, it was totally ahead of its time. But it would also be hard to really, I think, maintain that sense of authorship, right? And I think on some level, it was also just too early.
What content did you like, Eric? Just of older content, older storytelling in golf, like even before the 2000s. Did anything come to mind for you?
Well, I didn't get into golf until 2009.
Okay.
So I was like actually not into golf. I was like anti-golf. Right? I did not want to play golf. I was not interested in the game. My brother, 10 years older than me, was sort of the traditional golfer, and I didn't want to be like him. so really not. But when I got into golf, Matt Ginella, he was kind of this adventurer, storyteller, great writer, great photographer. And I remember one of my good friends from childhood, he and I had gotten into golf separately. And I remember we were both talking one day and we were like, there's this guy, Matt Ginella, who goes out and just plays these great golf courses and takes photos and writes stories about it. And we were both so inspired by that. And this was the time where Instagram had no video.
Right.
Yeah.
And you couldn't zoom into the photos. And it was like, I don't even know if there were carousels.
Yeah, it was like one picture. You posted one photo and that was it.
And so like Janelle would post a picture of the ghost tree and he would tell you about the ghost tree. And it was really like a really novel concept of like, how can I learn more about this game that is like truly rich in terms of, personality, place, culture, all these things. And so Janella was really, for me, like an inspirational figure in terms of what's possible.
I mean, you think about golf now in your journey, 2025, and you're doing so many different things in terms of what you do around golf. Like, what is your relationship with it now? Are you in love? Like, is it something that you love? It's part of your business. It's part of who you are. But, like, do you get excited to go out and play still? Is it something that you want to do on a daily basis?
Yeah, I've gone up and down, as I'm sure you guys have as well, right? You spend every day kind of thinking about some version of golf,
right?
Whether it's the business of golf or the golf swing or the equipment, right, or the content. But yeah, right now I am absolutely in love with golf, and I'm ashamed to admit that it's because I watched a 30-second swing tip that really just figured everything out for me. And now
you sound like my uncle right now. My uncle's on Instagram like figuring out golf on a 30-second YouTube video.
It's a video of Rory. I've screen recorded it so I don't lose it. And it's a video of Rory at night, like after sunset. And there's even bleeps in the video. Like it's just a cell phone video of him talking to maybe his friend about his takeaway and how he's trying to keep his arms outside. And then the swing really is just one move. And for me, I've got this problem.
The chicken wing for people listening, yeah.
Yeah, and this is why you never want to emulate Scheffler's swing. You don't even want to watch him swing, in my opinion. It's just him and Norman and everybody just like don't even get.
Yeah.
So anyway, this Rory's got the best swing on tour.
I think so.
And it's so compact, and the tempo is so nice, and he moves so well through the ball that I just watched that video about 70 times, and the last 3 rounds I've played have gotten lower and lower and lower. And as a 6 handicap, I can easily shoot mid-80s and still kind of be satisfied. But now I feel like I'm about to just sort of hit several rounds in the 70s.
Marty, your love of golf, it's your business, and you've created golf clubs, and it's been a big part of who you are. Does how you play kind of coincide with how much you like it at the time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think if it's like I go in waves, just like you, Eric, like little highs and lows. Last summer I was on a high. Like I was into it. My kids were into it. My equipment was good. I had a good groove on practicing. The scores were showing up with the work, so I was getting rewarded, and I just got that momentum.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I've had other times where you got a lot going on in life, and you just got to let it down. But what I love about golf is a game for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's like it's okay if you have a bad year. Like you can get it back. You just put the effort in.
I remember
refocus.
Like in 22, I had a good summer and qualify for the amateur and do all this stuff. And then I remember the next year, the first 2 tournaments I played in, I played like a total dog.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's like, is this who I am now? Is this the golfer that I am now? And you have to remind yourself that that's such a micro version of who you are as a golfer. And like, look at the macro and what you're able to accomplish.
Yeah.
You've done so many things. Eric, I want to talk about the Random Golf Club, because when this popped up, I remember it was a novel concept. I was very interested in what you were doing with it. And then it's, you were a guy, like you've talked about being a country club guy and then kind of stepping away from that and wanting to follow in what you're talking about. So when you do these mad scrambles and you get all these people out at a golf course like Dobson Ranch, I know you've done that in Arizona, like what's the fulfillment for you at the end of the day?
Oh, man. it's interesting to come off of the previous question, which is, my golf game. Right. And I have this kind of, it's sort of a weird take, but I actually think golf is an inherently selfish game.
For sure.
Which is okay, but the best example is you're playing mediocre. I feel like you guys are probably beyond this in terms of a social awareness golf IQ standpoint, but for me, I've experienced this on my own, which is I'm playing below what I was expecting, and it's all that it's about.
Yep.
No matter who's around me, no matter who I'm playing with.
Like you kind of get quiet. You're not talking. And you're not being rude.
Nope.
You're not being mean to other people.
I'm sulking.
Yeah, you're kind of in your own little bubble. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm allowed to sulk.
For sure.
Because I should have made that putt. And there's a Bill Murray story where he's playing in a pro-am. These guys have paid $10,000 to be in his group. And he's on the 10th tee box. So he's halfway through the round. And he says, look, if I hit a good drive, I'll be happy and jovial for the rest of the round. But if I hit a bad drive, I'm not talking for the rest of the round. And, he hit a bad drive and didn't say another word. And, I mean, he's obviously, involved in some other type of experience of being a human. But yeah, I think golf has that inherent selfishness to it, where it's like my attitude and my ability to kind of ask other people about their shots or their lives or like what's going on at work. It goes away the worse I play, which is sort of, I believe that may be the biggest lesson in golf, is to let my score and my ball striking be secondary to my experience.
Yep.
And so that's one side of it. But the other side is your question about Random Golf Club is, for me, we host these great events. It's 100 people come out. Everyone gets a chance to hang out and play and hit. And, we all are on the same team. And so we pretty much birdie every hole except for the holes we eagle. And it's wild. And you can be a part of something without even really contributing to whatever the score is, but you're a part of this kind of like really like a metaphor of like together we're greater than we are as an individual. And so and really the crescendo of that for me is at the end of those events when people come out and they're nervous and you're hitting a ball in front of 100 people. It's like not normal. Most of us out there are, high single digits, double digits, new to golf. And at the end of it all, there's this kind of glow where people realize they've found a group of people.
Yeah. There's like kinship involved in all you're doing.
Totally. And what's funny is very rarely, if we were playing golf, three of us were playing golf, and you topped it, I would laugh.
Right. I would expect you to laugh, yes.
And that's because that's something I've learned.
Right.
Is that is what should happen.
Well, I remember, there's different cultures in the way we react to golf, and America's probably the most serious culture about it.
Yeah.
But, if you go to like Asian countries, and you've traveled all over the world and played golf everywhere, but there is that laughing about bad golf shots. That was something when I caddied at the old course, out of college, and you'd get these groups of players from Korea.
Yeah.
And you'd be in a bunker, leave it in the bunker, and they would be laughing at their friend, and the friend wouldn't be taking it offensively, right? They would be kind of in on the joke. And I just loved that approach to the game because, again, I do feel like the moment your buddy starts going south, everybody kind of wants to step away from them because they're either going to blow up or they're struggling or they're kind of going to that place we were talking about earlier.
And that's the unfortunate thing is because then as a spectator or a partner, you're co-signing the sulk.
Right.
And that's what Random Golf Club really aims to combat, which is like, oh my God, you missed the ball completely. That's amazing. You get a whole other shot and nobody cares.
Yeah. It's all good. It's
that's
like
Random Golf
kids,
Club.
Where did you get inspiration? Where do your ideas come from? You seeing from in other places?
Well, the Random Golf Club inspiration was really two experiences. One is they happened around the same time. And one was I was lucky enough to be married to a woman who insisted that we join a private club. And I said, fine. I couldn't afford it on my own, but we joined, and I thought it was great. And after 3 years, I realized I didn't need to be a member there anymore because I just felt like there were so many other types of people that play golf, and I really liked the municipal golf courses in LA. They're so rich, they're so real, and the golf was fine.
Yeah,
right? The golf was the greens were great, and they weren't the problem. Right, my problem was the stuffiness around the greens.
Yep.
And so I drove out of the golf course after quitting one day. And I just walked in the club and I said, I quit. I don't want to be a member anymore. And they were like, whoa. I was like, everything's fine. You guys are cool. I'm cool. I'm just doing a different thing. And on my way out, the door opened, and I was like, man, there's the gate. There's a gate to the parking lot, I guess, so you can't get in. You can't sneak in, which is amazing. And I was like, the gate opened, and I was like, man, it'd be cool if there was a club where anyone could play golf with anyone else, anywhere. And then I sort of chuckled as I rolled over the spike strip, and I was like, it'd be cool if it was called Random Golf Club. So that was kind of the original idea. And then right after that, I was in Australia, and I had gotten a couple DMs from some dudes that wanted to play golf. And I said yes to everybody. And after 4 days, I had somehow accepted 11 invitations to play golf. And I realized I only have 2 days left in this country. Let's all meet at Royal Park, which is a little 9-hole executive course right in the middle of Melbourne. I was like, let's just all meet there. And so we get to the clubhouse on Friday at 5 o'clock. I walked in the pro shop and I said, hey, what's your name? Tom. Tom, look, is there any chance the 11 of us could play as one group? And he was like, I don't see a problem with that. And so first hole, a little awkward. Second hole, less awkward. By the time we're at the 9th hole, we're old friends. And Tom comes out of the pro shop and he says, hey, I got glow balls. If you want to keep playing, I'll join you. So we play 4 more holes in the dark. We get back to the clubhouse
12.
again. Yeah, and now we got 12. And then there were 12. And we get back to the pro shop and he says, hey, look, I'll open up if you guys want to grab some drinks. We can hang out here forever. Hung out till midnight. We all exchanged numbers. And that was when I first saw, when I left the parking lot at Wilshire Country Club in LA, that's when I first saw how a golf club can be created in a truly random environment where all of us had really one thing in common. And that almost seemed richer than being a member of a private club where there's a selection committee. You obviously have a certain salary. You live in a certain area. For some reason, you also happen to sell insurance, whatever it is, whatever type of club you're at. Random Golf Club really seemed like there was an opportunity to just bring together people who really love golf. Mm-hmm. And the differences that we have actually strengthen the what we can learn from each other on the golf course.
Well, you did one of your Mad Scrambles at Dobson Ranch. So when I lived in Arizona, I played in a money game, and we've talked a lot about the Friday game at Dobson, which has kind of gone away, which is such a bummer. But there was a Friday money game every Friday at Dobson. And what you talk about with Random Golf Club is very much like what the Friday game was at Dobson, where it would be a group of 70 or 80 people. Yeah. And you'd have private club golfers there that were coming down from the Estancias and from, the Silverleafs and places like that to play in this money game. But I would play with a construction guy every Friday, and I would play with a guy that was like, he worked in tech, and you could wear jeans and you could wear a t-shirt, but you could wear your polo and all that stuff. And I always found that Friday game my favorite golf. Yeah. Because it felt inclusive, but it didn't feel like it was forcing everybody to be inclusive. It was like, you're coming out because you want to play golf and you want to play with this group. You might win $100, you might not, but we're all going to sit around and have some beers after and enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, and I think also there's something about mindset when you look at, that when you bring together that group of people, there tends to be an optimism. And that's really valuable. And I found like I just as much as anybody else, like I love a nice private course.
Yep, for sure.
Like I love great greens. I love yesterday we were at Estancia the other day, thanks to John. And I remember I was on the range and I put my wedge away and he goes, "Can I clean that for you?" And I was like,
they like happen upon you at times and you're like, "Oh, who's this guy? Yeah. He's the club cleaner guy."
Clean my club between shots on the range. I can get used to this.
This is pretty sweet.
But there's honestly some part of that I think that's not really golf. Right? That's service.
Right.
That's like a hotel or a restaurant.
Right.
Golf is just sort of going out and being like, where's the ball going to go? And who do I want to walk with? And that happens, I think, more often at places like Dobson Ranch. And I think that's why Matt and the team there has done such a great job, and why I hope the next 10 years sees even more places like that. It's like grass clippings. Wow.
Yeah, really cool.
Love it.
Erik, now you started your journey here in partnership with Ping. You talked about John K. Solheim, our president and CEO. You guys started off, kicking off with the Break 90 at Pinehurst last summer. Tell us a little bit about that, and what are you excited about with your relationship now with us here at Ping?
Well, Ping for me has long been a product and a brand and kind of like a, I don't know, I don't know if you guys remember when before you had the keys to golf, You know what I mean? When you were just like on the outside, you know, you're looking at all these brands, and for some reason, Ping always resonated with me. And it was the first set of clubs I ever bought. And
which were they? What were they?
I was misfitted. I got black dot I2s off Craigslist.
Yeah.
I had to regrip them. They were wrapped in a rubber band, you know. But I want to tell stories in golf, and I want to, you know, be a part of talking about why I care about what I care about, right? And you know, going back to all the random golf club history moments, like those are things that are about authenticity. Those are things that are about real experiences. And you know, the more I learned about the golf industry, the more I learned that Ping really is unique. But a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so that was really where I thought, man, like there's an opportunity to create great content with a company that cares maybe more about their customer than any of their competitors. And it shows up in all these different ways, right? Whether it's the commitment to engineering, the commitment to design, you know, the commitment to the team, right?
Yeah.
The staff that makes these products, the customers, the retailers that sell the products, you know, they're all treated differently. And so, you know, the more I learned about all this stuff, the more I just got really, really excited about it. But I kept hitting dead ends. And so finally I was like, I need to meet John. I need to meet John K. Solheim. And so we had dinner, it's almost exactly a year ago. And he didn't know who I was, didn't know anything about what I do. And I was like, hey, I'd like to propose something to you. And so that kind of began this process where I was able to get a foot in the door here, which, you know, for me was really exciting. And it makes me really proud because I care so much about not only the things that we look at when we're filming, but also how people respond when we share it, right? So we have this community that watches our content, right? It's like so rewarding for me to see that people get it. People get why Random Golf Club and Ping make a great partnership.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of that authenticity and that commitment to quality. And so it's been really fun to learn more. And this is probably, I guess I had never been to this location. You know, we're at the headquarters here. As of January of last year, I've been here like 7 times since. You know what I mean? And James got me fitted, and I've just really enjoyed the journey. So I don't know if I answered your question, Marty, but
Yeah.
for me, it just feels good.
Yeah.
Marty, the wall always stands out to me. It's when you go on the wall and you see the years that employees have been here. It's always just so crazy. It's like 25, 30, 40 years. You know, I mean, we talk so much. We have so many players on here that talk about the Ping family.
Yeah.
You know, and it does feel, I don't know if you get the same vibe, but I felt it for a long time. It's like, you feel like you're a part of the Ping family now.
Yeah.
You know, like now you're in here and you know people's names, and you know who does what, and you know when you come back, they're still going to be here because they care about it as well.
There was a moment yesterday during the Pro-Am where we were playing, and you know, on our 11th hole, the first tee came out and joined us, and they carried Mav McNeely's bag, and at the end, on the green, one of the kids said to me, "Are you part of the Ping family?" And I looked at John and I was like, and John goes, "I have the adoption paperwork on my desk, but I haven't signed it yet."
We're close. We're close. It's going to work out. Before we let you go, I did want to ask one thing about adventures in golf, and I know you probably get this question a lot. Is there one destination, one place that kind of stands out above the rest for you?
Well, we have been trying to get to South America for the last 5 years.
Okay.
And there's a whole, like, we have, like, every episode scripted out. We know who's in the episodes. You know, we're down in Ushuaia at the southern tip of, like, kind of Tierra del Fuego. There's a 9-hole course. We're in, you know, in Buenos Aires. There's an Alistair McKenzie course. You know, Uruguay, you know, has these, like, there's, like, these links courses. There's a course at the highest course in the world in Bolivia.
Yep.
There's an Amazon course, right, where you get a machete at the tee box. And we have literally scripted out these episodes. We're on WhatsApp. I know everybody in these locations. They're all aware of us. It's been hard to do because of the hemispheres. So you need to shoot these episodes in, you know, December, January, February, March. If you go in our summer, it'd be too cold in these places. So, but for some reason, the timing never works out. I don't know when we're going to go. I've never been to South America. It feels like a total tragedy. But yeah, no, I cannot wait. I speak just enough Spanish to get myself in trouble. So I'm really looking forward to that. Part of it too is it's like, if I'm going to go, I don't want to go for 11 days.
Right.
Like, I want to go for like a month and a half.
Correct.
You know, and so That's my white whale.
Okay.
South America.
South America. Did not expect that to be the answer. That's cool. I know the No Lane Up boys just went, and the videos looked unbelievable from there. So that makes a lot of sense. Well, Erik, appreciate the time as always. Good catching up with you. So cool to hear kind of what you're doing and your involvement with Ping, and we appreciate it. This is the Ping Proving Grounds podcast.